Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking a cheeky look at Ripple and the SEC lawsuit, and specifically the motions to dismiss. So, Chris, we finally got a bit of a schedule for the motions to dismiss with Guarding House and Larson. So we're going to get into that and see what's going on there. Like to keep everyone up to date with the nonsense that is the SEC and this Ripple lawsuit. So if you do find it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. So Chris, anything you'd like to add at this point, or should we jump over to the desktop and see exactly what's going on here?
I love all this stuff. Like, let us know what you think. Do you think they're going to be successful, or do you think the SEC are going to win this battle? Let me know in the comments. Really interested to get your opinion, guys.
Fantastic. Let's take a look. So Ripple versus the SEC. Briefing schedule for motions to dismiss by Guarding House, Larson are set. So, in short, quick summary, basically the SEC and Ripple have agreed on a schedule for briefing the motions to dismiss filed by Guarding House and Larson. According to attorneys for the Ripple chiefs, both parties have reached an impasse on several issues, which is why they are requesting the filing of a new brief. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. So the legal battle between the US Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and Ripple continues to pick up steam. No less than 4 documents were published yesterday via Court Listener. One of them revolves around the schedule for the briefings of the motion to dismiss filed by Chris Larson and Bradley Guarding House. So, this is kind of one of those things that I'm not generally too fussed, Chris, on what happens too much to Guarding House or Larson. It kind of doesn't matter too much. Not from my point of view, from an XRP investment point of view. Ultimately, they're chiefs of Ripple, but Ripple is a legal entity in itself, right? So these are just people who operate and run that particular organization, and these are the people who can be replaced, and therefore doesn't generally affect me too much. That being said, Chris Larson and Bradley Guarding House, they are key members, right? And you don't want anything bad to happen to them. So I do want this to be dismissed and kind of just pushed away. With that being said, I do totally understand how a lot of people feel about Guarding House in terms of selling the XRP, even though he was quote unquote super long. I get how that can be very frustrating and almost wounding to a lot of people. I get that. But ultimately, if we're really black and white, unemotional about it, because we're not emotional investors, Chris, it doesn't really matter. Let's just be brutally honest about it. Doesn't really matter to us.
And I guess on one side, Nick, you can still be super long. Brad's got a lot of XRP, I'm sure. And, it might be like, if you hold, say, 10,000 XRP, for example, the equivalent might be he's sold 10. So I guess it seems like an awful lot that's been sold, but actually, how much does he hold?
Yeah, no, I get that, but yeah, it is what it is. Ultimately, if whatever happens to Chris and Brad, Ripple will be fine at the end of it, regardless, in my opinion. So let's see what else is going on. As reported here by CNF, both Ripple CEOs have filed a letter stating their intention to file a motion to dismiss the SEC's amended complaint against them. Just 3 days ago, the SEC denied those motions to dismiss based on, all that nonsense and liability and stuff going on there. But according to the SEC, ultimately the two Ripple executives had avoided knowing that XRP could be found to be a security in order to profit financially. And what's really interesting about this is goes on to the back of what we were talking about yesterday, Chris, with how on one hand they're saying that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson avoided knowing that XRP could be found to be a security, right, from 7 or 8 years ago. Yet, on the other hand, telling exchanges that it's okay to sell XRP because it's, they have no idea that it's a security. So what they're basically saying is that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen should be, operating from a crystal ball, and they should know in advance of what they're doing, right? So I have to say that the contradictions coming from the SEC are laughable at this point, and from a government agency, you should expect better. So, like I said in yesterday's video, Chris, just on how this thing has been actually executed so far, heads need to roll. It's not that I want them to roll, they absolutely need to, because clearly there's a certain level of incompetence that's going on at the SEC. For one, obviously allowing it to go on for so long. Two, for actually filing this, even being pre-warned of the absolute devastating damage that you're going to do to retail investors, still went ahead and did it. Then the actual lawsuit that they filed, they had to amend because there were mistakes in it, and then they go ahead and contradict themselves time and time again. I'm sorry, but these guys are absolutely they need to go back to school, because it's a bit frustrating, to say the least. This is just not how you should be operating.
Kind of feel like they have been schooled a little bit, and yeah, publicly it's not the best, to say the least.
I mean, I'm not a smart guy, but I'm clearly smarter than these guys. I mean, it's not that difficult to get it right, and you've had a lot of time to get it right. So I don't know. I'm a bit unforgiving when it comes to this kind of stuff, because you have one job. Come on, you have one job, just get it right. So anyway, despite all of that, the fact that they could have, not filed this lawsuit, given the amount of time that they had to actually do it, and the fact that they were pre-warned about the damages that they were going to cause to the investors that they're supposed to protect, the fact that they had to amend it, and the fact that they've contradicted themselves, all of that parks to one side. They're doing a stellar job. So the SEC told Judge Torres, Chris, that in the latest letter that they and the individual defendants have agreed upon proposed schedule for briefing the individual defendants' motions to dismiss. And here's a little quote. The parties respectively propose that the individual defendants open briefs due April 12th, 2021 by SEC's briefs in opposition by be due by May 14th, 2021, and the individual defendants' reply briefs be due June 4th, 2021. Okay, so this thing's going to carry on for a little while yet, but the more I get into it, Chris, there's just some more absolute nonsense. It really is. But anyway, we're not going to get stuck up on it too much, I don't think, Chris. Ripple and SEC reached an impasse. So further, the Garlinghouse and Larsen legal teams have filed a motion to file a combined brief of 10 pages or less. Specifically, they seek to address several discovery issues on which we have currently reached an impasse with the plaintiff. The SEC has agreed on the condition that they also be entitled to a reply brief with the same page limit. So in addition, the two parties were informed by Judge Torres that 𝗗𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, I don't know if I'm saying that right or wrong, counsel for Ripple, was one of my law clerks during the September 2016, September 2017 term, more than 3 years ago. The court does not believe this relationship creates a conflict, but will entertain any request to reassign this case. So again, just waiving any potential right there of conflict of interest and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but ultimately, it is quite an interesting thing to see how the SEC have been handling it. And this is what they do on a day-by-day basis. This is embarrassing, and it's on a global stage, and they're really not doing a base job, are they, Chris?
Not really. You would expect better. But, I am sat here, with my popcorn watching this. It almost feels like a sitcom, rubbing my hands together because, on the face of it, it looks like everything's playing into the hands of Ripple, which, we do talk about the fact that we both believe that it's irrelevant what the outcome is. And when we say that, we mean irrelevant if Ripple lose. But if they win, I think it's going to be fantastic for crypto. generally as a market. And the reason why I believe this is there are going to be many others. And we were talking about one project actually today and going, you know what, if XRP is a security or was a security back, with the SEC, where the time frame that the SEC are looking at, then this other said project or unsaid project, it's definitely a security. And they will be going for others. And I'm not saying this to scare people. I think people should be actively, as part of their research, looking to see whether some of the projects they're invested in actually could be deemed a security or not.
Yeah, I mean, the 𝗕𝗪𝗪 is a good place to start, right? That 𝗕𝗪 test, right? And even though it's an incredibly old test, it gives you a bit of a steer. I mean, you just look at it and say, okay, well, does this project that's selling these particular tokens, do I rely on this particular company that's selling them to appreciate the value of the token? And for quite a few projects, Chris, that is going to be the case, and it's quite alarming. If the SEC were to potentially win this case, it's going to set precedent to move on to other projects and create similar cases that could cause a lot of more harm to retail investors across the US and of course the world, because obviously it has a bit of a knock-on effect, and it is incredibly disappointing. But I definitely think it's worth kind of just taking a step back from your investments, looking at them one by one and saying, do I rely on the company that's selling these tokens to appreciate the value? Does it require that particular company to do its marketing? Does it require that company to do something or to build a particular bridge or actually build the actual initial solution, the actual blockchain, right? And in many cases, they will start out as securities. The question is, are they currently securities when you got involved? And yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of cases, Chris, where potentially, projects that are new and just fresh now starting up could potentially be classed as a security under the old ways of thinking.
Yeah, and you're going to see this sort of probably form part of our decision making as part of our reconsolidation of our portfolio, right? Nick and myself have actively moved out of one project. We're going to be looking to do the same on several others, just really to whittle down the portfolio a little bit to make it more manageable. Now, with that said, there are projects where the teams are talking about or promising token burns, for example, and investors are getting in based on that promise. Just an example, and I think people should be acutely aware of what's going on. That they're basically going to have to maintain the platform once it's all sort of get up and running and all that sort of stuff. So for me, it has the feeling of a security with that particular project. I'm not going to mention the name of the project. I want people to go do their own research and ask questions. If you're invested in a project, there are lots of Telegram groups and various other platforms where you can engage with the project teams and stuff. And I would, as part of my research, definitely ask those questions directly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never a question that should be too hard to answer. So it's always good to jump into those Telegram groups, talk to the community, talk to some of the developers, and ask those questions that might be of concerns to yourselves. We always recommend doing a lot of research, and that is a part of it. Trying to get hold of these people and actually asking them the questions directly. And hopefully you get the answers that you're looking for. Right, and with all that said, Chris, if anyone has found this video useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing. By subscribing, you're going to be kept up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all this said and done, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.